Let's go. Good morning, Jacksonville. We're live here streaming at 11 a.m. Meteorologist Mike Prangley. I've got the bow tie on, of course, the Donna Marathon bow tie. And I've done many Donna Marathons, at least 10. And today I was more of the cheerleader and I really enjoyed it. And hats off, first of all, to all the volunteers, the first responders, the police. It was brutal cold out there this morning. So I took the protector out there, and yes, it's a beast. And luckily, it is warm. It was warm in our truck as we went out. And you know what the protector does? It's got all these weather instruments on it. It's got the anemometer that measures the wind. You got 2 points, temperature, and unbelievable. At one point, we hit 4 degrees above zero. It's barely above zero. 4 degrees is how it felt on the protector this morning. And so I was going out, and some of the popular items I was helping folks with were these hand warmers, handing these out. So this is what does it on cold days like today. Now, this is the coldest Donna Marathon since I ran in 2012. You got to go back, what was that, 14 years ago? And when I think of the Donna Marathon of 2012, I still get shivers. I get goosebumps. It was unbelievable. And, you know, the cool part about this is we said, yeah, have your hand warmers. And the reason being is my hands never warmed up during that run. And that day we started at 27. The Donna started at 24 today. So it was even colder today, the coldest on record for sure for the marathon and record-wise. But the problem I had was, again, the hands. And I said, wear 2 pairs of gloves. You need an interior lining, outside lining, and then the hand warmers. And then the other thing is, it gets painful out there in this cold weather. That wind hits your face, especially for the first part of the race with that north-northwest wind to start today. And then at least the runners will have the back wind coming home. But yeah, the Vaseline, you want to put like a little light coating on your face, your nose. You get chapped up really badly, really quickly. So just this bring back all these memories. So, you know, I was out there, I said, come on, we got this, you know, we're going to do this, runners. And the runners were all doing great. And once you get moving, the great part about running is even in this cold weather, and I know we had wind chills in the single digit start, your body does heat up. All right. And the other thing is, you don't ever want to wear too many layers as a runner. That can overdo it. But the big thing is, folks were dressed up. They took our advice. We said go to thrift stores, get some layers where you can peel off during the race, and then that goes to charity. All right. They can go to the homeless and help clothe people in this cold pattern. So all in all, it was a success out at the Donna Marathon. Just a shout out to, again, all the volunteers. It was unbelievable as far as the cold weather goes. I mean, I was up, this reminded me of Duluth, Minnesota when I used to be a meteorologist up there. I mean, this was unbelievable. Okay. Right now, hey, this just updated in the last minute, the power of streaming here live. We've got blue skies. You're looking at 32 degrees. We've been just shivering all morning long. West-northwest winds at 15. There's that dew point of 9. That's Arctic air. The Arctic front came in yesterday afternoon. Wind chill still at 22. When's the last time you can remember a wind chill at 22 degrees this late in the day? All right, so we've got that weather impact alert officially. If you're just joining us today through Monday morning, we're not done yet. I know, enough's enough. Brutal cold wind chills will continue, 20s and 30s all day. In fact, you saw that wind chill of 22. It's going to be tough to get that above 32. All right, so protecting the pipes, pets, and plants. Now, the pipes, a big issue. Some water heaters overnight. We had some problems with that, and that was even on the south side in St. Johns County. So again, we're very vulnerable in this type of weather. When we're several hours below 26 degrees, like we're going to see again tonight, we've really got to go. And what I did is outside of my yard, I went through all the outside, unplugged the hoses, spigots, and made sure everything was covered up. All right. Anything you see any exposed piping out there, we need to cover it up because we did have some pipe issues as far south as St. John's and Clay County this morning. And yeah, we're going to find our warm spots and layer up. We're past the point of, I said a 5-layer day last week. This is more than 5 layers. We need more than layers. We need to get inside and enjoy each other's company, maybe make some shepherd's pie. So let's put it all together for you. Record cold in Jacksonville, and it all started yesterday afternoon. Facebook page updates. The Arctic front is here. Beware of a few flurries. I say get the dogs out while you can. And sure enough, the flurries were flying across southeast Georgia, Orange Park, Lake City, St. Simons, Jekyll, all the way into St. Johns County, Switzerland, Green Cove Springs. So a lot of reports around the area. Even last night, Atlantic Beach. I mean, the list goes on. But I want to thank Frank from St. Simons Island for sharing this. I could just look at this with you here for the next few minutes. And that and this is Florida. You see the moss with the snowflakes in the background. That's just a scene that's not repeated much anywhere in the country. I mean, that's just gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, and you see the wind blowing there. We had wind gusts last night and yesterday afternoon that set wind records. We had wind gusts up near 54, 55 miles per hour across parts of the area in Duval County. So record wind gusts as we finished out January with the Arctic front and snow flurries. There's St. Simons. Here's some more flurries out there with the car cam, Angela and Sanderson. So yeah, along I-10, really healthy flakes. What's interesting about this is, usually our snow looks more like dandruff. It's really hard to see. You're saying, do I see? Yeah, I see something. And then usually you have to get out a dark coat and say, okay, that is a little snowflake. Yesterday, there was no doubt about it. I mean, look at those beautiful flying in the wind. I mean, we had upper air temperatures and temperatures through the atmospheric profile quickly falling below freezing. So there it is. There it is. Okay. Thank you, Angela. All right, let's put it together. How about this morning? How cold did it get? 21 at Brunswick and Lake City, some of the colder spots. St. Augustine, 23? Oh, Mayport. We appreciate your military service. 23 degrees along with Jacksonville. That 23 is a record low, no surprise. Forecast on Good Morning Jacksonville. I was talking about it all last week. Started on Monday, even before that. I said we're going to get some record cold. And there it is, verifying nicely. We take a look at the other thing. It wasn't just the cold with this cold spell. It was the wind chill this morning. So officially in Arlington, Craig Airport, a wind chill low of 8. So that's an official low of 8 on the wind chill meter when you factor in the temperature and that wind that was gusting over 30 miles per hour this morning. So Duval did set that record for the entire month of February. So usually we show you daily records. For instance, this morning daily record was 24 set back in 1977. All right, we hit 23 last night. All right, so we beat that by 1. I think we're going to be every bit as cold tonight. There's some models trying to bring in maybe a few clouds late tonight. I'm not buying it. 23 maybe too warm. So we're at least going to tie the record set back in 1979. Don't be surprised if we fall another degree or two. So that's the importance of getting outside. Just check on and making sure all your pipes outside are covered up. All right, because we're going to do what we did last night all over again. And that's because of a lighter wind. Polar high pressure still in control. So as we put the forecast together, it's 32 degrees. And notice the temperatures. I mean, when's the last time we saw this as we get ready for lunchtime? The entire area at 32 or below. That includes Palm Coast, Placas. St. Augustine's not reporting. Probably the thermometer's frozen. We got upper 20s into Glenn, Camden County, or they're still talking about those flurries. 30 in Folkestone and back to Lake City, McClenny at 29 degrees. And then here's the problem. We got that northwest wind coming in. So just think of the most powerful front we've had in years, polar high pressure to the west. So nature's really responding to these powerhouse synoptic weather systems and really a tight pressure gradient, and the wind is responding. There you go. We've got some gusts still. It's not good news. I'm still thinking of the runners out there, right? around 20, 25. That's better than the 35 to 40 mile per hour winds we saw this morning when we took the Protector, the Beast, out to the beach. And as the afternoon goes on, these gusts will start to lay down closer to 10 to 15. That'll be closer to sunset. And then tonight, lighter wind, more cooling, another freeze is on the way. Wind chills, we're talking about those wind chill record lows this morning in the single digits. Still 22 Jacksonville, but let's just give a shout out to St. Simons and Brunswick. A little southern hospitality, a lot of it needed on a cold day like today, and then some lower to middle 20s down toward Keystone. And we're in with the big boys now. I mean, Jacksonville officially 22. We're rivaling what they normally see up north this time of year. This is like the real deal. Tampa still feeling like 31 degrees right now. You go back to Houston. Hey, Katrina, we found a place that's warmer than freezing. Okay, Houston, Texas. All right, bring it on. 33 degrees. All right. Brutal wind chills, though, will be our story the rest of today. We've got temperatures that are really going to be stuck near freezing or below. That's just a model you're seeing there. I'll see that. I'll see when I believe it. 36, maybe. I was leaning all day for temperatures holding right around freezing for those wind chills. And then as we go into this evening, they really kind of steady off. All right, so the wind chills will steady off as high pressure builds into the middle to upper 20s. All right, weekend weather outlook. I've got a little flash frame in there. Actual temperatures today, best we can do is in the low 40s. Okay, just so you know. And then tonight, again, we're going to fall quickly toward freezing by 10 o'clock. So really, your freeze warnings go back into effect. Just think freeze warnings officially go back into effect at 10 o'clock. All right. And then the cold weather advisories as well. At least it's not an extreme cold weather warning like last night. Still cold enough. Cold weather advisory. And that'll go all the way through tomorrow morning. All right. So we got low temperatures. Let's take a look at this. So we should be here in St. Simons, the coastal areas of Georgia, we should be in the low 40s this time of year, low to mid 40s, not even close, still 15, 20 degrees below normal. You got Waycross at 22 and Blackshear as well at 22. Nahunta, Folkestone, thinking of you with those temperatures, 10 to 15 degrees, 20 degrees really. We're talking really 20 degrees below normal in most locations. We go a little bit to the south. And again, I see clear skies, most of the area. There's 23 officially. Jacksonville, Mandarin, E-Town. Once again, it's a pipe night. We got to cover everything up. 26. We had our faucet dripping all night last night in St. John's. 26. Low to mid 20s out toward Camp Blanding. The beach is a little different. 26 is the threshold for the hard freeze. At least it looks like closer to 30, but that's still serious cold. Nocatee. 28, but once you get out to Jack's Beach, South Jack's Beach, Ponte Vedra, Sawgrass, 29, 30 degrees. That's sure a whole lot better than the 24 this morning. St. Augustine, I showed you that low of 23, about 5 degrees warmer along the coast at 28. So a little better if you're at the beaches tonight, not expecting the hard freeze, but I would still cover everything up, especially those beautiful plants you have out there as we go into later on tonight. As we go into the big picture, we're watching Palatka, Putnam County, Palm Coast. Again, you've got the freeze warnings going on with temperatures in the low to mid 20s. In fact, it's a night where, once again, we've got cold weather advisories going all the way to South Florida. It's unbelievable. Yeah, we do. And we have verified iguanas falling out of trees down there in Cold Stun. Tomorrow, can we get some 50s? Yes, low to mid 50s, a record cold start, bright sunshine, feeling much better. So, that Arctic air can only hold together so well down here in the deep south. We've got a little advantage here with that higher sun angle. Okay, we don't have to worry about melting snow or ice, and that sun's energy can go right into heating us up. One thing to note, you may want to get a car wash tomorrow. We're going to talk about this. Yeah, we've got pollen out there. It's back. Some of the trees are actually blooming. So pollen counts on the rise. We got, it's a day where we can get our cars washed and enjoy low to mid 50s. This is an unbelievable picture. That storm that brought us the flurries yesterday, it almost looks like a tropical system just winding up there. I really should take that low pressure off so you can see it. It almost has like an eye. That's a deep low pressure. Underwent bombogenesis, dropped 17.5 inches in some parts of the Carolinas, especially toward the Cape. Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, at about 8 inches of snow. My friends in Advance, North Carolina and Charlotte saw their biggest snowstorm in 20 years, 8 to 10 inches. And if you look at the picture, it looks like we're iced over, doesn't it? It looks like a movie. What you're seeing is the cold air going over the warmer water. So you see a silhouette, so to speak, of North America, of Florida. It's just like we stick out like a sore thumb. So you see that little shadow of clouds, a silhouette. That's just all the cold air. And what you need to pick out, follow me with those stratocumulus clouds. Look where that front is. It goes all the way through Cuba and back into Jamaica. All right, there's some friends that I know that have actually gone to Jamaica to escape the cold, or they thought they were. Well, it's not going to be cold there, but it's going to be cooler and much cooler than even Jamaica usually feels. Usually they can be well into the 80s this time of year. You're getting out of the cold. Today is going to kind of be a chilly 72 with that breeze kicking up. So I think it's going to be interesting. And hopefully I don't know anybody in Cancun right now, but I have been doing some cruise forecasts around the area. And I did give the thumbs up. I said, well, we're going to get very cold, but I think it's good cruising weather. Okay, Cozumel, we'll take it. 71 degrees and partly sunny, but again, should be in the 80s this time of year. There's Montego Bay. That's a chilly wind and an early high of 75. Grand Cayman Island in the mid-70s. You see Aruba, Curacao. There's the weather they normally have in the mid to upper 80s. So just a powerful front Even the Caribbean feeling the chillier weather. Not cold like Florida, but at least chillier. And then notice Miami, that's a high temperature today of 52. Freeport, Bahamas, well, we're not swimming with the pigs today. That's a high temperature in the Bahamas in the 50s. Oh, my goodness. All right. So here's our current conditions around the state. We were talking about flying, those falling iguanas earlier. Yeah, they're flying out of trees. Cold, stunned iguanas. 43 is the current conditions in Miami for the temperature. 39 Tampa, Orlando, 33. Usually, you're trying to find your cool spots in Orlando. Not today. And as we know, there's more than just the cold temperatures. It's the wind chill. Now, this really catches you, doesn't it? 35 right now in Miami. So Miami this morning, they dropped those wind chills in the upper 20s and felt colder than parts of Alaska. I know I could go on and on. I've got like a million cold weather facts. I think we get the picture. Miami, mid 30s, 23 Orlando, you got 20 in Waycross, still feeling like the teens up in Brunswick, feeling like the teens at 11 a.m. My goodness. This is unforgettable stuff. All right, this is the weather you talk about with your grandchildren, right? This is what Michael and I will be talking about when I see my little baby in England here soon. We're going to be talking about this blast of cold weather and the power of nature. 23 is how it feels in Orlando. If you're traveling today, hey, the one advantage we have, we talked about having an advantage here in Florida where we can bounce back from these worst of cold spells pretty quickly. Well, today we've got great travel weather as well. All right, we're not stuck in ice and snow. And I couldn't believe my eyes yesterday in Charlotte when we had everybody trying to get out on the roads on I-77. Just a big mess. And it's going to take time to clear up. So if you're traveling really up toward the Carolinas, be extra careful. I think most of Georgia escaped the worst of the roads. There could be a few slick spots toward Athens, but overall, we've got good travel weather from Pensacola, sunny and 45 in your local forecast, with more beautiful weather for Panama City in the middle 40s. We take a look at Tally, capital city at 44. Hey, how about we find some warmer weather? I think you've had enough of the cold weather facts. I have too. All right, 23 tomorrow. I have to say it. Record cold. One more record cold warning. Freeze warning. Okay. And then we've got 53 for our high. Nice to see 60s again. But Miami, well, not quite 59, but 60 in Fort Myers. All right. And those lows once again with the cold weather advisory to South Florida, more stunned iguanas, and 36. Even the Keys only in the 50s. But here we go. You ready for warm up? Tuesday, Wednesday. Back in the 60s. So we should be in the 60s this time of year. We're getting closer to normal. All right, Duval, we still start with frost at 29 on Tuesday. And then once we get through Tuesday, we may not see another freeze for the rest of the week into the weekend. All right, fingers, toes crossed. And we even have a front that could bring in a round of heavy rain, maybe some thunder Wednesday night. So ahead of that front, winds turn southwest, temperatures respond back in the low to mid 70s. And how about above normal temperatures finally for the Jacksonville area, Orlando 74, sitting pretty on Wednesday. So want to get outside. You got cabin fever like so many. It's been painful to get outside, right? Wednesday would be your day to maybe take some time for you. Maybe make a little golf plans and it'd be great. That rain you see should not be until later Wednesday night, right? Most of us will be sleeping through the rain. And then Thursday morning we wake up and that front will pass. And of course, it's a cold front. We're February, right? And it's going to move through, I think, very early Thursday. So most of Thursday looks dry and a little cooler with 57 degrees. We're still in that drought and we need the rain. And it looks like rain amounts not too shabby. We take a look Wednesday. We said more of a dry day. If we get rain, maybe southeast Georgia, Waycross, Brunswick, but most of it, again, later in the evening, overnight as we're sleeping. And if we can get some of those amounts like we see in St. Mary's, like up close to a half inch, Waycross, Edie, toward areas of Clinch County, we need that to fill in over us. The problem is, that line looks like it's weakening as it moves south. So notice you go from over a half inch up into areas of Camden and Glenn County to just a trickle, much lower amounts as you head toward Palm Coast and St. Augustine. So again, this is still far enough out where hopefully we'll have more of a line that holds together across North Florida. And I'd favor Central Florida for the lower amount. So right now I'm optimistic a quarter inch or more for most of us, and hopefully getting up to that half-inch amount. 7-day forecast. Yeah, we update this round the clock as a weather team. We got 2020. What we got here? All right, let's expand it. There it is. All right, weather impact alert through Monday morning. Today's high, that's a high. I know 43, but really feeling like 32. 23 tomorrow morning without the big chills, but getting the kids to school on Groundhog Day. It's Groundhog Day, and it's feeling like it with all these cold weathers back to back to back to back. But Punxsutawney Phil, yeah, we'll talk more about him in a little later on. But I tell you what, the overall forecast for North America would still favor, especially if you're heading to the Northeast, this cold pattern we saw in January. I think overall cooler than normal in most of the country for February. Okay, so we're not going to have to wait on Punxsutawney's forecast this year. But that doesn't mean we're not going to warm up at least. And I do think that we are going to see some much warmer days and fewer of those cold days as we head in through February. So notice 23 Monday, 53 for the high. We talked about 60s Tuesday, back to 71 weather pick on Wednesday. The 60% chance of rain would be overnight Wednesday, okay, and then we dry out Thursday. And then behind the front, there's no Arctic air. So this is good news. We stay in the 60s, maybe near freeze and maybe a light freeze on Friday, but overall, that next swath of Arctic air we're tracking up toward Churchill and Prince Albert and Yellowknife, where they don't have trees, it's so cold. That pink area and the white area, instead of coming barreling right into South Florida, right through Florida, and we showed it all the way to what, almost Jamaica, it's not going to quite make it this time. Not this time, baby. We take a look at that Arctic Express. We still have another 4 minutes here. And if you're in the Northeast, you're going to feel it. There's Wednesday. Watching my friends in Missouri. Oh, in Midwest, don't worry, kiddies. We're going to get you a snow day and then some, I think, as we head toward Valentine's Day. This pattern is going to snap back. This is not going to be a hit or miss pattern. This is going to be a winter we remember. So you're next. You're next out in the Midwest, and watch out toward Valentine's Day. This week, though, is more about the Cold Express and the Arctic Express. And there it is. Notice the pinks and the whites stay from North Carolina northward. So poor D.C., already seeing their coldest pattern since the 80s. I don't see much of a break. I mean, you may be lucky to get above freezing for a day or two. Barely, and then you're going right back in the deep freeze. This pattern tells me we're in a clipper pattern. So for our friends in the Carolinas that were just... a lot of folks are so happy. They've missed seeing the snow up there. You may get another snow. Not quite as big, but you may get more snow in the deep south, especially in the Carolinas. Atlanta, you're right on the fringes. You're going to be, I think, just like over the weekend, you're going to miss most of it. But we'll keep an eye on our friends in Atlanta. Memphis, St. Louis, yeah, just more of a quick hitting snow. And then this pattern will snap for a bigger storm chance for Valentine's Day. We take a look at the next 10 days. This is important. We're talking about those low temperatures. And with that Arctic air, I showed you staying mainly north of the area. I'm feeling good about this. So we have the average low of 44. We've got the couple freezes. Tonight's the big freeze to watch for. One more record low. There's the moderation, some 40s Wednesday, Thursday. Little dip Friday, maybe a little dip Sunday. There may be a little frost to start, but this is nothing like we've seen. And if you average all those temperatures out, that's much closer to that average low of 44. Yeah, we've earned it. Bring it on, nature. 10-day forecast. All right, here we go. Yeah, so notice even as we go into next week, we got this week covered, right? We talked about the rain Wednesday night, Thursday. Weekend, we said would turn cooler, but nothing too cold. All right, we got that. 65, 70, it looks great. And then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to keep those temperatures boosted up into the upper 60s to low 70s. So it's great. Great news here. We take a look at the overall temperature outlook through Valentine's Day. Focus on where those temperatures, and there's the big contrast in the map, right? We got the warmer weather out west, much colder than normal weather. We see the deeper blues. Those are colder than normal chances. So where you see the deep blue, that's an 80% chance of below normal weather. Here in Jacksonville, we're in the lighter shading. I think we're more in the middle. We're kind of between. I think we're going to escape the coldest of the cold, but we're still going to have some chilly weather. All right, but look at the Midwest. You're going from warmer than normal in Dallas to cooler than normal in St. Louis. No, there's going to be something big happening, and we'll keep an eye on that as we head into the middle of February. I've already called back to the daughter, and she's going to have some snow days. Chicago, you're still in the chill, and here in Jacksonville, we're watching. As far as the precipitation goes, not the best news. We're still in a drier pattern with that more active pattern staying to the west and Midwest. So if you're just joining us here on streaming, we're wrapping up our first of 2 streams. You can count on us if there's any big storms, flurries, we're here. So I've added, and Katrina, let's add another show. At 1 p.m. Let's do another one. Okay, we've added another show for you at 1 p.m. I think folks want to hear more about Puxatawney Phil, and I think you want to see more of the snow pictures. So I'm going to load those in. We'll take a question. We'll have a weather question. Okay, we'll add that in at 1 o'clock. And we'll talk more about this pattern and this pattern change for the warmer, at least. Still some chilly weather, but at least a little bit warmer as we go into time. So we appreciate you joining us. Weather impact alert continues for the rest of our Sunday into Monday morning. Cold weather alerts, freeze warnings kick back in at 10 p.m., but feeling like freezing, right around the freezing marker below for the rest of this afternoon. So a historic cold wave hitting North America. We showed you that cold air all the way down to Jamaica, and here at home, we're watching things slowly improve this week. That includes weather back in the 70s, at least briefly, and weather at least a little bit more like what we're used to as we go into next week. So check back at 1 o'clock. I'm going to expand on all of this and have much more. In the meantime, get a little exercise in, maybe do a quick run, let the dogs out quickly, and then find that warm spot.